So let's dive into something that's going on inside every single one of us. We're going to talk about two competing systems, two different paths that are constantly at work inside our hearts. It's like this hidden battlefield that shapes, well, pretty much everything. How we see life, how we love, and how we handle our deepest needs.
I mean, have you ever felt that feeling where you really want to do one thing, but you find yourself doing the exact opposite? It's this deep tension. The Apostle Paul actually wrote about it thousands of years ago. It's this universal sense that we're being pulled in two totally different directions. So if you feel it, know this. You're not alone. It's a core part of being human.
All right, so here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to really explore this internal battlefield. Then we'll look at what's called the orphan's survival loop, a default path that so many of us get stuck on. But then we'll talk about a much better way, the son's path home. I'll even give you a kind of compass to figure out which path you're on, and we'll wrap up with an invitation to grow together. So what's really going on with this internal conflict? Well, it's not just a bunch of random, chaotic emotions. Think of it more like a clash between two completely different internal operating systems. These are two ways we've learned to attach to the world to try and get our needs met. You know, this cry from the Apostle Paul, it just perfectly captures the heart of this whole struggle, doesn't it? It's that feeling of being trapped in a pattern that you just can't seem to break on your own. This is not a new problem. It's the timeless tension of having two systems running inside us at the very same time. Let's get really clear on what these two systems are. The first one, let's call it the old system, is the one we all start with. It's shaped by our family, our experiences, and the world's survival of the fittest logic. The second system is totally new. It's a heavenly system, a new kind of family, really. One that's based on a secure identity that's given to us, not earned by us. And the real battle is over which system we turn to when we feel a need. Okay, so let's unpack that first system, our default setting. We're calling it the orphan's survival loop. Now, that name might sound a little harsh, but it's not meant to be a judgment. It's just describing the tragedy of what happens when we operate as if we are completely and utterly on our own in this world. And this diagram here, it shows that path pretty clearly. It's just a simple three-gear system labeled 1, 2, 5. But notice the most important thing. It is a closed loop. There's no way out. This is the cycle we get stuck spinning in when we believe deep down that if our needs are going to get met, well, we have to do it all by ourselves.
So how does this thing work? First, a need pops up. Maybe it's for safety or to feel valued or to be loved. Then, second, because we feel like we're all alone, there's an instant survival reaction. You know the drill, fight, flight, or freeze. And here's the crazy part. We immediately jump straight to step 5, rationalization. This is where we use our big, smart brains not to find truth, but as a weapon to prove that our reaction was right and to make sure we survive.
And look at where this path always leads. This 1, 2, 5 loop will inevitably put you into what's called enemy mode. See, when survival is the only thing that matters, anyone or anything that seems to get in the way of meeting our need, and I mean anyone, a helpful friend, a piece of truth, even God himself, gets automatically flagged as an enemy. Our whole world just becomes a battlefield. But here's the good news. There is another way. And the alternative isn't about just trying harder or running faster inside that same broken loop. Nope. It's about switching to a completely different track. A path that doesn't lead to a battlefield, but actually leads home. And just look at the difference here. You can see it visually right away. This path, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 cycle, it's not a closed, frantic, panicked loop. It's an open, flowing system. It brings in new, absolutely critical elements like connection and identity. This is a cycle of life, not just bare-knuckle survival. So let's walk through it. A need still arises, that's totally normal, but the game changer, the absolute pivot, is step 2. Instead of that instant reaction, there is a pause and turn. And where do we turn? We turn toward step 3, union with Jesus and a safe community. That connection gives us the safety to then receive our identity from the Father in step 4. And from that place of secure identity, we can circle back to our original need, only now it's been totally reshaped. Okay, this all sounds really good, right? But how in the world do we actually do it? How do we get off that high-speed, out-of-control highway of the orphan loop and get onto this new path? What's the key that lets us switch tracks? This little table just makes the difference so crystal clear. On the left, the orphan loop is driven by survival, which leads to instant reactions. In that loop, logic becomes a weapon, and the outcome is always enemy mode. But on the right, the son's path, it's motivated by security. Its key action is an intentional pause. And here, logic becomes a blessing, a gift, and the outcome is peace and real renewal. So here it is, the crucial point, the key, the absolute pivot for this whole thing is step 3, that union with Jesus and a safe community. That connection is what creates the safety we need to be able to pause. It's described as the narrow gate, not because it's so hard to get through, but because it requires us to drop our weapons, to let go of our self-defense systems in order to enter. It's the only way to break that automatic survival reaction. Okay, let's make this super practical for you right now. We're going to shift from all the theory to personal application. Think of this as a compass with 4 key questions to help you figure out which path you're on in any given moment. So first up, the need indicator. Just think about it for a second. When a deep need shows up in your heart, what's your first instinct? Is it to rush out and fix it, control it, do anything to make the discomfort go away? Or have you found a place where you can just let that need be there without it having to be the boss of you? Second, the reaction indicator. What happens when you get triggered? Is it like a switch flips and you have an instant automatic reaction? You attack, you defend, you shut down. Or is there a moment, even just a split second, where you can pause and just name what's happening inside of you? That tiny space to pause. That is everything. That's the fruit of feeling secure.
Third, the connection indicator. When things get really hard, which way do you run? Do you retreat into yourself, into isolation, believing you've got to figure this all out alone? Or do you have a habit, a practice of intentionally moving toward connection, toward your safe people? The direction you run in difficulty, that's a huge clue.
And finally, we get to the deepest question of all, the identity indicator. At the end of the day, where does your sense of who I am really settle? Is it based on your performance, on being right, on what you can achieve? Or does it settle into a quiet, steady sense of just belonging, of being a child of the Father, totally secure no matter how you perform? In this quote right here, it just perfectly sums up the goal. This is the key takeaway of this entire explainer. Maturity isn't about becoming some kind of superhuman who doesn't have needs. No way. It's about learning, right in the middle of our messy needs, which system to turn back to for our security and for our identity. You know, understanding all this, it's just the first step. The real journey, the real adventure, is learning how to walk this new path, day by day. And that is absolutely something we are meant to do together, in community. Thank you so much for walking this path with me today. And if this explainer has been helpful for you, please subscribe, like, and maybe share it with someone you're on this journey with. If you want more resources on emotional maturity and this whole idea of relational growth, come visit us at me2us2.info and grow with us. Because, as the proverb says, as iron sharpens iron, so one person sharpens another.